Welcome to Golf in the Cosmos, where physics meets the fairway and the universe takes a swing at your mind. I'm Kevin, and we got Andrew here. How are you, man?
Hey, Kevin, doing really well. Excited to be here. Love a good podcast. Today
Yeah.
is Thursday, so it's awesome to see the tournament playing out today. One of my picks is doing well. Kepka, baby.
Yeah. He 6 birdies on the back nine. This is the RBC Canadian Open. We got the U.S. Open next week. So it's an exciting time. Golf's getting into its full swing.
Yep.
So
Yeah, we're about to enter where just big tournament after big tournament, and then I think there are a couple, not off weeks, but just softer tournament weeks during the summer, so people can take a little bit of a break. But then obviously we move into the fall and the end of summer where all those FedEx Cup points start mattering, which is always interesting. These guys are trying to make top tens because those FedEx Cup points really get them to that final tournament.
Oh yeah. No, it's a good time. It's been a great season so far. Scotty's only won once this year, so we
Kind of called it at the beginning. We kind of
noticed that he was struggling
we
somewhat.
we felt that yes, he won the American Express in the desert, but since then obviously has not won and really hasn't. He's come so close, but he just doesn't seem to have that like Tiger mentality of I'm going to beat everyone. And he's been kind of saying that the last couple of years. He's like, I'm just here because I love it and I'm glad to be here, rather than Tiger mentality of I'm here to win, right? He doesn't seem here to win. He's just here to get as close as possible each week.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting so, seconds, thirds, and a lot of stuff. He's never far behind. So, I don't see his number one in the world going anywhere. He's getting so many points every week still. It's not like he's missing cuts or anything.
Yeah, I think he could win the FedEx Cup, which could be interesting because I don't know how they're going to lay it out this year. I'm sure it's already decided, but with the way he's playing, he's the type of guy to, after 3 tournaments, just end up on top in that last one.
Yeah, no, certainly. So yeah, I mean, he'll definitely be in that final 30 guys. I mean, that's basically guarantee at this point. So.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it is interesting. I don't know if it's because he had a kid this year or what changed, for him. But I think the expectations got so high. I think he broke the streak of a top, where he was getting top 10 like 20 something times in a row, and that broke this year. So
yeah, it's almost like he has a good work-life balance and is leaning into that and trying to make sure. Scotty is staying Scotty and not devoting everything to golf as much as we want him to. And it's like we just can't squeeze as much out of him as we could Tiger. And unfortunately, we pushed Tiger probably a little too far, in my opinion, with all of his recovery he's gone through. I just think, I stand by that we've been pushing Tiger since he was 2, being on, I can't remember what show it was, but hitting balls into essentially a launch monitor, right? Back in the day, just a net.
Right.
And so I think Scotty is sort of never was pushed into that limelight. And because of that, he's not like brainwashed to push himself there on his own.
Yeah. He's avoiding burnout.
Yeah.
He's making
he's
sure.
going to be playing PGA Tour. I mean, as long as he wants to at this rate.
Yeah, right. Nothing's going to stop him, where you could argue some things kind of stopped Tiger a little bit. He was on kind of full tilt.
He was going as hard as you can go, winning more tournaments than almost anyone.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Tiger does have the record for most PGA Tour wins, right? But the majors, I think 18 is Jack Nicklaus, right?
Yeah.
So he's still behind him on that and might never cross that threshold.
He's chasing the majors. I know that one gentleman we were talking to at Costa Mesa, the lowest scoring average on a season. I think Tiger has that by a large margin.
Yep.
So
and I think they were talking his calculated handicap was like plus 13 or 14, maybe even 15.
Right.
So like you take a course rating of 72, he's shooting 60, like for
Yeah.
sure. He's got to play a PGA Tour course that's rated, they don't rate them, but you can assume those are like 78 ratings, and these pros are shooting even to a few under par.
Yeah. Well, some would be rated but you're right. A lot of these tournaments, they're throwing the tees
Yeah,
back to
they
places that never got looked at.
Yeah,
But
and
some have it, permanent tees for the pros.
yeah, I guess you're right, but they usually change the course to where if they rated it that week,
Yeah.
it would be totally different than a standard week where anyone can go play, like a TPC or whatever it might be.
Yeah, true. And the U.S. Open's going to be at Shinnecock. It's interesting. There's no trees there. It's links style. The last U.S. Open that was there had, they let the greens get so firm that it was like it was basically the consensus was that it was unfair. That it wasn't like it actually wasn't like playable to a degree.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's they're not going to let that happen this year. They actually made the fairways wider, the rough a little thicker, and the green speed should. I want to say someone said 11 to 12. So
Wow.
they shouldn't be letting it get, out of hand where there's not too many complaints.
If they did get wind there, they're not gonna. The ball, the last thing they want is the ball to be moving when the wind blows, even if it's just 10 to 20 miles an hour.
Right.
So that's good on them.
There's a balance, right? I mean, you're always going to have some people complaining, which is normal, but they don't want everyone complaining.
Yeah. They don't want a riot of players who it's like, this is unfair. I can't score. Golf should reward good shots, and when you hit a perfect shot and it doesn't end up good, then that's when it feels unfair. And I think we've all played rounds like that where you're hitting the ball well into greens, and just because of the conditions of the course, you're ending up in weird spots, and it's like, well, this isn't fun anymore. And even on TV, you don't really want to see that. It is fun sometimes, but not always.
Yeah, I mean, this is Shinnecock Hills is the 2018 U.S. Open was there. Famously, Phil Mickelson in his third round on the 13th hole, he hit a moving ball. That's how unfair.
Oh, right.
That's how unfair this green was playing in his mind. Instead of letting it roll off the green, he decided to just hit it again. I think that one missed, and then he tapped it in again. So, he was allowed to take that penalty. It was you have a choice to take that penalty, and he thought, getting 2 strokes added for hitting that moving ball was better than it going off the green and then doing this, all day.
Yep.
So it was a protest essentially.
I remember that happened. That was funny. He just got a lot of shade for pretty much breaking the rules and doing it in a way that felt like, okay, that's kind of absurd, like to not play the ball as it lies, but to like play ping pong with it.
Well, I remember being so confused when I saw that initially, because I'm like, wait, you're not allowed to do that. And I had to get my head around, well, no, you're allowed to do like a lot of things on the golf course but you get penalized. So you can hit a moving ball, but if you want to add 2 more strokes, go ahead.
Yeah. Another thing I remember him doing, I can't remember which, I think it was a major tournament, but he's on the tee box, right? And Phil Mickelson knows that on the tee box, you can pat down grass. You can do anything you want on that tee box. You can repair a divot, whatever you want. But what he did is walked up to just outside the tee box and patted down some long grass that he thought maybe his tee shot was going to hit. And he got penalized for that, because outside the tee box, you can't adjust or move grass or like change your lie or pathway of the ball. So I just remember him walking up there and like patting down the grass, and he got penalized for that one too.
Oh, wow.
So he should have known that. But that one is a little bit more reasonable, because we've also all played a tee box where there's like a bush in front of you, and you're like, why am I hitting into a bush?
Yeah.
And I have to go over the bush? Like, what kind of tee box is that?
Right. And then from the teeing ground, you have like, 2 club lengths? that you can
that's an
go
interesting rule.
backwards.
Yeah, you can 2 club lengths back from the tee box, you can tee it up. So you kind of get this big rectangle
Right.
behind the tee markers. And I think if you're not taking advantage of that on par threes where you're in between clubs
Yeah.
and you want to take the longer club, guess what? You have an extra like 6 feet ish to pull that club.
What is
the
that, like
ball back.
2 yards kind of?
Yeah, it's about like 2 to 3 yards depending on what club you're hitting.
Right.
That's a good question. Like, is it driver length
Yeah.
backwards?
Yeah. I believe
Yeah,
so.
that's what I would assume. It's
Yeah.
your longest club. So I
Mhm.
guess that would be like 100 inches ish
Mm.
back you could go. So that can save you when you're worried about going long into water or whatever, and you just go, this club can't go X yardage, and so I'm gonna
Yeah,
move it back a
just
couple yards.
so people are following that, you have your tee markers. You don't have to tee up your ball right on that kind of imaginary line, right? You can actually go backwards up to 2 club lengths, and on a par 3, if you are 1 to 2 yards, maybe even with wind or something, you kind of feel like this could go a little long. Then why not walk back a step or two, tee it up just to ensure you don't kind of airmail it.
Yeah, and it also helps you not put your tee in front of the markers.
Yeah,
And
that's a
there's
penalty. Yeah,
right, the penalty. I've seen a couple of people do it, and it's easy to do because sometimes they're misaligned, the tee markers, and you look at the one in front of you and you think, okay, I'm fine with that one, but you don't look behind you, and someone can call you out on that. And you have to be, if your ball is touching the threshold of the front of the tee, you're fine, but the second you're in front, that entire ball is in front of that tee marker, you're out of bounds there.
Okay, so any portion of the ball can be touching that imaginary plane.
I believe so.
Yeah.
That's another one. It's like that's a real specific thing.
Yeah.
Try not to get close because you have 2 club lengths behind you.
Right. Go the other way. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't even risk it.
That's funny. Yeah. So I mean that's a good one. So we are playing tomorrow. I'm stoked.
Yes,
we're playing that
little
tournament.
Yeah, I'm stoked. Do you know what course we're playing? Lagos or?
I don't know. I want to guess that it's Linda.
Yeah, that would be. I think that would be more fun for everyone.
Yeah.
I think there's at least 3 to 5 groups going out.
Yeah.
Should be fun. First time I've played since, my gosh, I think since we played that tournament at Los Verdes. So
it's so interesting. I was going to bring that up. So I played that next morning at Coyote Hills. But this is the longest. I was looking. This is about 12-day break for me, and this is the longest break since March 24th for me.
Wow.
I have not gone 12 days without golfing since March 24th.
Yeah.
So a couple of months. So it'll I didn't realize how hard it was to take that much of a break because I was playing a lot.
Yeah,
I was almost driving myself insane too.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see you play tomorrow because taking a break, sometimes your body starts feeling totally different. And as you warm up, I would advise to warm up a little bit to
I'm going to get there. I'm actually going to get there a couple hours early.
Nice.
There's some stuff I want to work on.
It's really, when you haven't played in a while, the easiest things to help your game are alignment and essentially ball flight, right? It's like, where is my ball flying and where am I actually aiming? Because if you can calibrate your alignment a little bit and then also understand the ball flight, you will be able to approach any shot and at least have that as your foundation. Yeah, the lie might change. You might be in the rough, the fairway, whatever, but having those two things, knowing it's going to cut 5 yards with a 9-iron or it's going to fly at this trajectory with a 9 or a 7-iron, and then knowing that when you walk up to the ball, you're going to hit it where you think you're aimed, like it just sets you up to, no matter how you feel, to at least have that to bank on, right?
Yeah. Now I have kind of a cache of saved screen recordings and stuff that I want to look at. Like one of them is your oblique video. I'm going to focus on that. Pressure. There's been some really interesting comments on that on when I put it on TikTok, like the coil, like they're arguing, is it a coil or an uncoil? They're arguing or they're mentioning like it's kind of painful, like it's kind of almost feels uncomfortable, but the guy's like, but it freaking works, like So
one comment was like, doesn't it feel uncontrollable? And I replied to that one. And I was like, That's exactly how it should feel. It should feel like you're not in control of the club, because when you're in control of the club, that means your grip is too tight. That means you're using your arms, because
Right.
it's easy to feel your arms, but it's hard to feel your core. And
Mm-hmm.
because of that, you shouldn't really feel the club. And the key is finding the plane, right? And your backswing. It's like doing that core thing with the proper setup and like standing at the ball means your swing will be on plane. And if it's on plane, don't even worry about control. Like it's going to
Right.
hit the ball in the right spot.
Totally. I mean, and this
Yeah.
whole idea of like the word control, we're so used to using our hands to do things
Mm-hmm.
in the world.
Yep.
And so it's like, that feels like I'm in control when I'm holding this cup. I'm in control of it. But if
Mm-hmm.
if my oblique is tightened and I'm on, then yeah, and I don't feel in control because I'm not having a strong grip or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's
to your point, it probably feels a little bit out of your control, which is the right. That's good.
exactly. It was like when that comic showed up, I was like, that perfect, dude.
It's well
Like you
said.
got it.
Yeah.
Was like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. And
Yeah.
then what happens is over time with practice, it becomes internal. And guess what? You'll find the control, like, because you'll discover it. It's not something you get to do, it is something that comes to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only given to you once you kind of let go of that control. That's what's so counterintuitive about the damn sport, is that every part of it is out of your control. And once you accept that, I mean, then you're free. It's
That's
kind of
really
philosophical at that point, which is, kind of Cosmos is. It really does come back to your Cosmos idea. It's like a rock moved on Mars, and that is out of your control. That ball falling in the hole is out of your control sometimes. And yeah, you can get it at the right pace and hit the perfect line, and it still doesn't go in. Like
right.
it's not always in your control.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. Now another screen recording I saw that I really liked that I saved is like the guy. He doesn't even have a club, and he's
Oh
standing
yeah.
over the ball and puts his hands like together and above it. Finds that kind of center with the feet together too, and then he moves the left foot first. If you're right-handed, left foot out first, like 4 inches, and then the right one goes back based on what club it is.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's how you find your spacing.
Yeah.
But it's just a really nice way to get, because I feel like I really messed that up a lot. Where's the ball in
Yep.
relation to my stance, and where's my I get all weird on that.
Yeah.
So I feel
Yeah.
like getting the club out of my hand would be
Yep.
key.
Everyone I teach puts the ball in the opposite spot of where it should be. They
Mm-hmm.
put well, I guess everyone puts it too far forward is kind of what it is. They have a
Yeah.
pitching wedge and it's at the middle of their stance. It's
God,
like
I do that way too much.
everybody does, because you think you need more loft with this wedge because you want it to go up in the air. But it just works fully opposite, where you actually can move it back
Well,
and
sometimes
press it more.
I think if it's in the back of my stance, it's gonna come up and hit my face. Like it feels like that's what it almost feels like. I'm like, oh my
Oh,
god,
like you're gonna hit it so high
because
and
it's so lofted, and I'm like,
it's
dude,
gonna
this
hit
is like
you.
scary.
Yeah, that man. It
But that's how it
obviously goes
feels.
deep.
It feels that wrong
Yep.
when it's
Yep.
back for an
Yep.
amateur, for like a high handicapper.
Yeah, that's so interesting, because I can imagine why it feels like that. And that especially happens if you flip it at all. Like if you don't hit down into the ground and project it forward, then it is going to go up, but it'll never hit you.
No, I know, but it almost feels like I'd rather put it up. You got to put it up front because of it's so lofted. Like
Right. That's funny.
it just more of a cerebral, type of
Yeah.
feeling. But that's I don't know. But you're right. I bet everyone that you teach puts it too far forward.
Yep.
So
It's just when you look at the setup and you're standing over it, you're like, well, how is this going to go in the air if it's that far back?
Mhm.
Or like it just doesn't feel right to put wedges in the back of your stance. But I'm sure, look at every pro hitting a sand wedge or pitching wedge into a green. It's probably at most in the middle of their stance.
right.
I doubt you'll ever see it unless they're playing a high flip version of that wedge. You'll rarely see it in the front.
Right, right. Yeah, and then another clip is like the crossing. I think they like cross their arms and to feel the turn. Like I kind of like that because I feel like my arms will often just jack me up. Like my turn screws up my turn.
Right.
Where if you just get your arms out of there, I think the theme I'm getting at here is like a lot of stuff. Drop the damn club. A lot of these drills are like with no club.
Yeah.
To get your body moving the right way, and then grab the club and then do that same thing that you just felt. Basically.
Yeah. And I'm going to be posting some clips starting tomorrow. I try to do one each day after I get a good lesson. And we do exactly that. We basically hold the club out in front of us. And that oblique drill is like in the golf position, right? You're bent over.
Mm-hmm.
But with this lady, we stood straight up because I didn't want to add that oblique in just yet. I wanted to just feel the chest turn.
Mm.
And so we held it straight in front of us and just turn your body. And it was the same idea of the oblique thing, but just without the tilting at the hips to make it easier on her body. So that one will be up soon, and it does the same thing. It just helps you feel how the weight moves and the body turns standing straight upright, and it's very unrelated. You're not hitting a ball. You barely have the club in your hand. It's just kind of more of a stick.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I might even like go up to the tee box, like, and just stand there, do like the motions with no club, and then be like, Jack, club me now. Like while I'm almost, how about like I'm in the backswing, throw me the club. Like,
I'm here, I'm in the position.
Yeah. Now give me the club. All right, boom. Like, cause it's so bad. The club throws, I feel like I could do these movements and motions way better without a club and just throw it in at the last second,
Yep. Yeah. That's funny. That's good.
So, but okay, another clip that absolutely exploded last week was the handicap. Paying for a handicap, how much that adds up, and all the people that like, what are we paying for? Yeah. So we want to get into kind of the physics meets the fairway a little bit here. So I want you to break down. We're going to break down the handicap equation. Like, what are you actually paying for? When you get that USGA handicap, and I guess some of the money, a lot of the money goes to your club, state, right, or your local agency. For us, it's like SCGA, Southern California Golf Association. So a lot of money does go to them, but there was that was absolutely interesting to hear some of the people that some people commented who used to manage those funds, and like they were like only $6 goes to the USGA. Wow. But listen, how different is all these they're all golf associations. Okay. So
yeah, it's like what,
and if you're not
really different,
if you're not taking advantage of like their events that they still make you pay for, then you're really just kind of giving the money to them. But they're maintaining this handicap that's kind of this global, equation that everyone abides by and plays by the same rules. It kind of levels the playing field, so I can play. My brother who's a 30 handicap, I can play anyone and have a good time, have a competitive, I should say, round. But yeah, let's break it down a little bit.
For sure. Yeah. So the handicap comes from buying a GHIN, which I actually looked it up, and I guess the way to pronounce GHIN is GHIN, and but somebody wanted to flip it to GHIN because it makes more sense with the H there. But so yeah, handicap comes from.
What does that stand for? What's the GHIN stand for? Golf Handicap Index?
Yeah. Okay. Great question. Why don't you Google that one?
Yeah, I got you.
And then we'll kick it in.
I thought when you had the history of the name, you're going to be like, and it stands for.
I did, but I never got to that search.
It's the Golf Handicap. So GHIN stands for Golf Handicap and Information Network. Okay.
So you sign up for a GHIN, right? And you get, I think it's an 8-digit number, maybe 7. And you can look up anyone's GHIN and find their handicap. And that's how, when you enter tournaments, they basically plug that GHIN into a system and they look you up to make sure you're at the right handicap for that tournament.
So side story on that, I read an article. I don't think this is a rumor, but certain jobs now, And get this, job applications now are
Really?
looking up your GHIN and determining, hey, maybe you're in, due to the flexible nature of work now, maybe you're in like some sort of sales role, banking, you're working with clients, taking clients out to dinners, golfing. Employers are now checking the GHIN for certain positions because they want those aces on their team, if you will, right? Everyone wants to play with a good player. Like everyone wants to play with you, Andrew, right? Because you're scratch. You've experienced that, right?
Yeah.
You get invited to more outings. It's just a fact. So imagine employers are capitalizing on that and checking people's GHIN. So that's kind of crazy.
That would be funny on your resume.
It's a skill.
GHIN. It's like, here's my GHIN. Look me up.
Yeah,
I'm a scratch golfer. I'm not lying.
Right. Here's my GHIN number. You're all right. You're hired.
Yep. Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's hop into the equation. So, in general, the GHIN or your handicap tracks your best 8 out of your last 20 scores. And the question that nobody really knows is, how is that number actually calculated? And it's a pretty simple equation, and we're going to write it out here, and I'm going to abbreviate some things because we don't have unlimited space.
And the key here is, right, it's not just your scores added up and the lowest 8, because everyone plays different courses.
Yeah.
Right. So that I feel like is the heart of it.
Yeah, and it's the heart of it is because every scorecard you see will have a course rating and a slope rating. And those numbers are very important for this equation. And I think a common misconception, or not misconception, but something that's said all the time but not understood, is that slope rating is what helps you identify how hard a golf course is for a bogey golfer or like an 18 handicap. And the course rating is what a scratch golfer should shoot. And it's not that is not just something that is said. It's actually part of the equation. And we're going to walk through that in a second. So let's write this out. Give me a second. So it's called your differential, right? This differential is what we end up calling our handicap, but every time you play, you get a differential. And that differential is made up of two main factors, right? There's a kind of a left side of the equation and a right side of the equation. And that is your gross score. So this is the score you shot today. And it's actually adjusted. So if you made a quadruple bogey, that's brought down to a max net double bogey. So that score is adjusted. So if you blew up on a hole, it actually doesn't hurt your handicap because it's adjusted. So you take that gross score and subtract the course rating. Okay, so once you have this part of the equation, which I'll put in parentheses, that is kind of the left side of the equation, right? It's gross score minus course rating. So if you shot 80 and the rating is 72, you get an 8 on this part of the equation. Where slope comes in is that this factor is multiplied by the slope portion of this equation, and that is 113 divided by the course slope rating. So what's happening here is that, let's say the course rating is 72 and the slope rating is 130, right? So what happens here is that you take the score you shot, subtract that course rating. So you shot 80. So if I start, let me know if you can't see this, but you shot 80, you're going to subtract 72, and you're going to multiply that by 113 divided by the course rating, which I said was 130.
By slope.
Yeah, sorry, by the slope rating. That looks like an 8, but that's a 3. So this is some number, this is a number less than 0, right? So because that number is less than 0, it's going to lower your score, right? It's going to lower your differential. Okay, so if you shot, this is 8 times a number less than 0, less than 1, my bad. It's less than 1, right? So it's going to lower your handicap. So now if this is less than 1, my actual differential is going to be like 6.8 or something like that. So that's the handicap you walk away with And that's why, let's say you shot 8 over and you're like, oh, I should be an 8 handicap. But because the slope is part of this equation, it lowers that to a 6.8 or whatever this number is. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what if the slope is the slope ever below 113?
It can be, but actually the average course slope is 120. So 113 is a number they kind of made up to be the neutral course, right? It's the course that is not hard, not easy. It's just right in the middle. And so when a course slope rating is 113, think about it. This part of the equation becomes 1. And when that's 1, it multiplies the left side of the equation by 1, which equals exactly what it is. So if that were the case here, it would be 8, and that would be your differential for the day.
And what's so interesting, why the slope doesn't affect scratch golfers as much, is because they're shooting 72, maybe, right? And then
exactly. So this is
because
where
the left number, the higher the left number is, the more it gets affected by the multiplier.
Exactly. And so that's where this idea comes in that a bogey golfer, the slope matters more, because it does, right? The higher this number on the left gets, the more this factor multiplied by it affects that number. If this were 0, if I shot 72, course rating 72, this becomes 0, right? Multiplied by anything is 0. So it doesn't change or help my score at all.
The highest slope in the world doesn't even matter because you shot, because you're scratched, because it that's the whole point, that when they make the slope.
Yep. Yeah, and my curious question, which I haven't looked into, is as you start shooting under the course rating, if I shot this area 70 and we get a -2 on the left side, does it start lowering my handicap even more? Does the slope start affecting my handicap in a positive or negative but good direction?
Interesting.
But I'm not actually sure about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's one other part of this equation I didn't write out here, and that is called PCC, or playing conditions calculation. And everyone has played golf in really hard conditions. Sometimes it's super easy. The pins are at the bottom of the hill. But most of the time, when you think about what the PCC does, it's when the course is playing really hard. So it's super windy, super fast greens, whatever it is, and everyone's shooting higher scores, right? So the GHIN system added in this PCC, playing conditions calculation, to account for that. So where this comes in is that I'm probably running out of paper here, but let me scroll down a little bit. Let's see. Do you have some room down here?
Yep, you're good.
Cool. So what the PCC does is it comes in on that left side of the equation. So it's that gross score minus the rating, and then it subtracts the PCC. So that becomes the left side of this equation. And what happens here is this number can be from -1 to +1 to -3, right? It can go from +1 to -3, which means if, my bad, it's actually -1 to +3. So the PCC can go from -1 to +3. And what that means is that when it's really hard, the course can give you an extra 3 points towards the rating. So it's kind of like...
Could we just back up and talk about PCC a little more?
Yep. Let's do it.
So this whole equation I could do on my own without paying $60 to my golf association. But the PCC number changes. It's calculated daily. It's per course. So Costa Mesa could have a +1 PCC that day. Mesa Verde could have a -1 that day. And this is all based on the data from people that played that day, right? It's grouping everyone's scores together and looking at their handicaps and going, wow, overall everyone shot pretty high. So we're going to throw a +1 PCC on. Okay, so let's get back to the PCC more. I want to understand that. This is the playing conditions calculation. And again, this to me is what I'm paying for, because this is why you get the email the next day, why you don't get your handicap that night, because they need to look at everyone's scores and go, actually, We adjusted it a little bit because it was playing kind of tough or it was playing really hard.
Yep.
And then side thing, I was looking, if you shoot a negative score, the slope actually brings your differential closer to 0. And it's something that under scratch players get it's a controversial thing because a negative number, I guess, gets closer to 0 when you multiply that.
And yeah, because it's multiplied. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It still gets closer to 0 because it's multiplied by a number less than 1 most of the time. And so that will actually bring, if you have a differential of minus, or I guess, -2, then it would bring it closer to 0. Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of a point of contention. That's kind of unfair thing because it's like the harder the course, the harder it is for bogey golfers, and if they go under, they aren't getting rewarded enough.
Yeah, that is really interesting.
But yeah, so you're going over the PCC. So that, so explain to me, explain to me in layman's terms what a -1 day is like and what a +3 day is like weather-wise.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all played where it feels like a +3 day where everyone on the course is shooting scores higher than they normally do, right? And it's pretty much going to take everyone's differential and compare it to their current handicap and say, wow, every single person who played on this day shot over their handicap by like 5 or more, or like whatever that average is. And they will use that to sort of create a ratio within the -1 to +3 and adjust everyone's differential with that little extra factor in the equation. And yeah, I would say that.
Can you explain differential more? Like, why is a higher differential better than a lower one?
What you do is you compare your handicap, right? So what's your handicap right now?
10.5.
Okay, so 10.5. If tomorrow you shot a differential, which is made with this calculation, a differential of 15, and everyone else shot under their handicap by like a couple differential points within the equation, then you would really be potentially having a minusing on the PCC side of things because you played poorly, but everyone else played well. That's usually not the case, though. Like, most people are going to be in the similar differential, but we've all seen someone have a great day. And when someone has a great day and everyone else is struggling, that PCC could really help them because it's going to add extra strokes to their differential.
But so I'm trying to understand. I thought a 15. You said I struggled, but if you add 3 more to that, then I have an 18.
No, so because in the equation these are
it's minus. Got it.
That's why
it's hard because it's a +3. So a minus and a minus cancel. If it's playing super easy that day, it's -1, which is a +1.
Exactly.
Then that means I shot a 16 differential, so it smoked me more because it was playing so easy. Everyone did well, and I did bad.
Exactly.
So it's actually a -3. It's minus the 3, -1 to 3.
Yeah, that's why parentheses are great to help understand it because it's like a unit, right? That's calculated on its own, and then it's popped into the equation, which has a minus sign.
Got it. Interesting.
Yeah, and I think the PCC is cool because it's gone through a couple iterations where it wasn't triggering at first. So when they first introduced it, it was never actually triggering, even when it was 40-mile-an-hour winds, or maybe that was the only time it would. But I think they've adjusted it 2 times now since they initiated it to actually trigger a little bit more often and help people essentially lower their handicap at this point.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking, that since I forget what year it changed most recently, but we were like, wait, so have handicaps on average gone down since that PCC change, which mathematically they almost have to.
Yeah.
From a historical perspective, if you're changing the adjustment.
Yeah, within a couple, I mean, golf, you could argue, is getting easier with the equipment and the golf balls, and that brings up the whole conversation of the rollback. And I just think the drivers are becoming more consistent. Like, let's be honest, I'm seeing way less massive slices by anyone I golf with, and it's got to be these new TaylorMade drivers, right, that have the mass and the carbon fiber and everything set up so well. And it's really the face design to where if you hit the ball off the toe, you're not losing that many yards. You're not seeing the ball snap hook unless it's a swing technique thing. So it's the handicaps probably on average have gone down. But if we were to take the full field of golfers, guess how many new golfers have come out since 2020, right? So like the average has probably gone up if you take everyone into account.
Because there's more people thrown into the database. Yeah.
Yeah. More new golfers, right?
And what's interesting about the playing conditions calculation, it's really fairly new. The PCC was introduced globally Jan 1, 2020. It automatically assesses if a course plays harder or easier than expected due to weather or course setup based on other people's scores that day, an adjustment from -1 to +3. The summer of 22, the USGA and RNA altered the algorithm's rounding method, resulting in an estimated 5% increase in how often the PCC adjustments were triggered. Jan 1, 2023, a further rounding procedure update was rolled out to target approximately 10% of daily rounds rather than the original 5%. In 2024, the USGA and other governing bodies relaxed the statistical barriers further, relaxing the trigger rate to come into play 10 to 15% of rounds. So, 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10 times you play, you're getting a PCC adjustment, the next day.
Yeah. Yeah. And that we never touched, or you may have, but I don't think we touched on the fact that 8 rounds have to occur on that day at that course and submitted to the handicap system for this to even be part of the equation at all.
Right.
So you're playing in the middle of winter and a course is barely open. I think on the East Coast, actually, the handicap wouldn't let us submit scores because it was out of season.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of East Coast listeners will feel that.
Well, yeah, everyone can relate who plays off season, if you will. And when I say off season, I mean it in like the literal sense and figurative sense, as far as the handicap system won't let you post.
Yep.
It's I guess it takes it in as like a practice round or something, because it's just not fair to the system, I guess. But they should almost run a separate, for $5 more a year, run an off-season handicap or something for us.
Yeah, there's just not enough rounds occurring in those places to calculate a PCC or to.
I counted 8 guys out when there was snow on the ground.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
In Maryland,
8 guys.
They let me out still.
Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like it's more so the slope rating would have to change during those colder times because the conditions are simply harder most of the time when you're playing out there.
Yeah. No, I would love to like follow one of the course rating folks around and see, it's interesting. How objective is it,
Yeah, I heard the other day that they go, in a previous podcast, I was like, how often do they re-rate or like retest their ratings? And I heard that they come out to, as many courses, there's members all around that come like 10 times a year to different courses and go play them to kind of think about what their slope and course ratings are. And I was told that courses in the middle of nowhere don't get anyone, right? Like nobody's going to fly out to the middle of Oklahoma to go test a course that might be great, but it just doesn't get enough attention or have enough players to require or, get someone to fly out there just to do that.
Interesting. So you're saying they're adjusting those numbers?
I don't think they're actually
high traffic?
adjusting.
Okay.
Because how often do you see a new scorecard come
Yeah,
out? But
right.
I do think for the handicap system, maybe internally, they move it around a little bit here and there to really adjust, and maybe that scorecard number gets out of date. I'm not sure, but they definitely go out and play and make sure the course is still upstanding USGA, like fitting the original model.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and honestly, you would never really know if they printed a new scorecard. I mean, they could easily change a rating, and the scorecard looks exactly the same. And unless you played there every day and knew exactly what the rating was last year or something.
Yep.
So that's interesting. Yeah, we gotta Look at that. Maybe one day we can get one of those people on the pod and talk to them about that more. But
Yeah, that would be really cool.
That's some interesting stuff.
The insides of course ratings. That'd be cool.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think we pretty much explained how the handicap is calculated. So they take your top 8 scores out of your last 20 and average those out to get your handicap, and that's built from the differentials of each round, which is done using this equation. And I think once you see it on paper, it's not as complicated as you might think, and it's really quite clear that you could calculate it yourself, except for the PCC.
Right.
Which, going back to what we pay for, it's really the data set of everyone golfing that golf course that day that builds the system, and is kind of what you're paying for, is access to that data.
100%. But also we're paying for the fact that the rating and slope was established.
Yeah.
In a global sense of fairness.
Yep.
It's saying courses must be re-rated at least once every 10 years, according to USGA guidelines. They can change much more frequently depending on the age of the course and physical updates. New golf courses must be re-rated within 5 years. Established courses must be re-rated every 10 years. The Allied Golf Associations can use more aggressive cycles if there's major modifications, maintenance changes, like stimp meter changes, procedural adjustments. So really, that's what we're paying for too, right? Is those
constant monitoring of these golf courses and making sure that the game can be played fairly anywhere in the United States, but also in Europe with the RNA.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. So after kind of bitching about the cost,
Right.
We have now come to appreciate it a little more. But yeah, it's some of these other associations pay a lot less than, I think we're paying 60 and they're paying a lot less. I was surprised that.
Yeah, I think when I was up in Rochester, it was only like 40, 35. Like I've seen it. It definitely has to do with the economy of the area, how many golf courses there are, and probably various things like that, and how much the club or organization in that local area needs to staff it. Like how many people do they employ?
Right.
Things like that.
Sure. Yeah. How many courses that they need to go rate and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. That's really cool. So I wanted to quickly mention that there's no more Hawaii. They've been releasing some of the new schedule. It's pretty front loaded. The Florida swing changed up slightly. Now I believe the Arnold Palmer will be after the Players, I want to say. So there's just a few changes. Still some of the main sponsors have held on, but there's still a lot up in the air, but everything looks pretty good. The first event will be the American Express in the desert. That will be the first event. And then down to Torrey.
The date of that?
I want to say like Jan 22 or something. Yeah. Wow. So a little more of a break.
There's just nothing early Jan.
Yeah, there's no Hawaii swing anymore. So that'll be.
I wonder if they're going to use that time and do some more YouTube style of TGL style, like something that's just outside the box to get the fans excited about golf right as the new year kicks off. I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to think like, hey, let's fill this gap with some golf content. And I think I saw someone in the non-signature tournament was mic'd up. I think it was the winner was mic'd up the entire tournament. And like the more they get us closer to those players inside the ropes, I think the better. I mean, it's such a world that nobody knows anything about. I know they keep secrets. There are things that I'm talking about on my channel that I know are like, if I were pro, I wouldn't tell anyone.
Yeah. That's a fact. Yeah.
And in every profession, that's the case. In the corporate world, it's the case. So I just think getting inside the ropes more and more to just give us a little bit of that is highly valuable TV and content.
For sure. No, definitely. Yeah, well, hopefully they've taken note, of how big YouTube Golf has gotten, and try to take the good things from it, certainly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think the PGA specifically has things planned. I think they want to give people a break, but then by creating that void, things happen, like the Capital One challenges, a lot of things on the side can happen. YouTube golf events, things can, golf, people still want to watch golf, especially, we're kind of used to watching it those times. I know they don't want to compete with the NFL if they don't have to. So that NFL's in full swing at those times.
Yep.
They actually do compete with them a little bit at the beginning of the season. So we'll,
yeah, that's a good point.
We'll see.
Sunday afternoons are hilarious on the golf course during football season. I don't know if you've ever gotten to play. I'm not a huge football fan, so it's always a great time to go play 9 holes in November on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
And just have nobody out there because everyone loves football.
Because there's like some
US.
great game. There's a great week. It's like
there's somebody on prime time.
Yeah, there's just like great matchups or something that week. No, it is interesting. And then Saturday's college football, so you can, depending on what time, you can get out there more. But again, I mean, that's if you're somewhere where the weather permits, you to play in those months as well. But
I think there's going to be I think this is totally off topic, but a lot of people have been like, quote unquote, leaving California, right? Like leaving the West Coast to go to Texas or to go other places. But I think in a few years, especially with the way AI might take responsibility for a lot of like the job force, I think there could be a flood back to California where you just kind of want to be outside all day, all year, and there's no reason to be inside in the winter. So number 2 things are going to happen. Golf simulators are going to get cheaper and start to proliferate every household that has a golfer in it with the space. And then I think there could be a move back to the West Coast where the weather's relatively good all year so that golfers especially can enjoy it in those winter months.
Yeah, all right.
There's a hot take there.
You heard it here first. Yeah. AI will lead to more West Coast golfing. So yeah, I mean, the Live CEO had a funny interview. They asked him, can you guarantee that the next 3 or 4 events will happen? And he just like shined the question. He's like, I'll tell you one thing I can guarantee: this is a great investment if you want to invest in this.
Wow.
So no one really knows what's happening with Live. Phil's played one event this whole season with Live. I don't know. It's as we were talking about at the beginning of the pod, it's really interesting. We're at an interesting inflection point of the Tiger and Phil era. It is like hitting rock bottom right now. Tiger and Phil, in a sense, they haven't been on TV. No one's talking about them. That used to be that's what it was all about, Tiger and Phil. And they've been slowly but surely dropping off the map. I do expect a really strong, kind of rebirth, if you will, with Tiger on the Champions Tour. I really hope that he does play on the Champions Tour eventually, because he can have a golf cart, right? He's allowed to have that golf cart. Everyone does, so that he doesn't have to worry about the physical part of walking 18 holes. It would just be really fun to watch Tiger. I'm calling the Champions Tour is going to have, we said this the other week, but it's going to have higher ratings than PGA Tour events certain weeks when Tiger's playing on the Champions Tour. His son has been in the news as well. He caddied for his buddy Miles. Let's see. What is his name? Miles Russell. Thank you. He caddied for Miles Russell on the longest day in golf. That was really interesting last Monday to be a part of that. The longest day in golf, 36 hole qualifier for the U.S. Open. but Miles Russell made it. So the bag that Charlie Woods was caddying actually made it. So
Wow.
again, I'm super curious, and I called it, and then all of a sudden, all these other posts started coming out, asking the same question. But I feel like I was the first one to make that call. That will Charlie caddy at Shinnecock? Wouldn't that be cool?
Can you hear me?
But he's starting to take the spotlight in a sense. I'm starting to see it, right? When they show him on TV, you get a Tiger-esque type of excitement, knowing that that's his son and that he's, has the golf clothes on and he's out there. So we'll see if, even if he caddies for for Miles Russell, his teammate, right? They're both going to be Florida State golfers next year. It's going to be fun. And then I think it'll be fun to watch like the NCAAs next year if Florida State makes it pretty far to see Charlie. I really think the Woods family is about to make a big comeback, with Charlie taking over the college scene. His dad, Tiger, taking over the Champions Tour pretty soon when he gets back in action. And then I don't know what's happening with Phil. He just there's all this bad news coming out about him recently, and I don't know what his deal is. So I actually don't know if Phil will ever be back the same.
I think he's over it.
Technically, I think he would be maybe allowed to play on the Champions Tour. I don't think they can stop him, but I don't. Who knows? I mean, they're all contractors, right?
Right. Can you hear me, Kevin?
Oh, I lost your audio, bud. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Check.
Yep. Okay, we'll cut you right back in. So yeah, and so I don't know if, I don't know if Phil will be back, but they're all contractors, right?
Yeah, I think Phil is just over it at this point. He's moving on, but he's too good of a golfer to stop. So I think, I haven't read the recent news, but just the general vibe is that once he felt Liv was falling, he's just trying to survive and doesn't really care about trying to come back to the PGA. But maybe he will try. Who knows? Yeah,
really weird news. He like inappropriately touched a server at his country club. Like, what the hell is that? Like, that's not even like, I'm not even trying to read that stuff when I'm looking up golf news. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, I don't understand like why that, so I don't know what he's getting himself into, or if this is like some people are saying it's a money grab. Like, it's just odd that I feel like the PGA, has something against Phil. Well, we know that. Put it this way: the PGA Tour has a bone to pick with Phil. They never feel like they got the last word or the last punch, if you will. He got them pretty good. He was the first big name to go to Live. He had issues before as well. You got Greg Norman and Phil Mickelson, the two kind of enemies of the PGA Tour that they have their kind of bullseyes set on. And then you see an article, you see the story of him inappropriately touching someone at his country club, a server, I believe. And this story is just everywhere. It's getting just pushed by the golf media. And it almost feels like it's, a way that the tour is finally got some ammo to take down Phil a little more, just to keep ticking him down. And then he won that late PGA championship, and he got back up. He got a punch in on them, and they couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I don't know what that recent news is. I did see that, and that's, that sucks because it's him taking advantage of his power that he feels like he has in this environment. And but yeah, the PGA doesn't really like him. He's always been a firecracker and always been that character, and I just think he's getting older now to where he's not having potentially perfect judgment here and there.
Apparently. Yeah, so I don't know, we'll see what happens with Phil, but yeah, Phil, Liv, that's all up in the air. PGA schedule looks pretty good. The schedule changes next year. U.S. Open, can't wait, man. I mean, over 10,000 people tried to qualify. It's the most open golf event in the world. As far as everyone has a chance to.
Yeah,
I think it's a
true.
point 8 or something handicap, 0.7 or something. May even be lower, but they all are. You're technically eligible to try to qualify.
Yeah.
And those,
Interesting.
I think 600 people or something on that Monday tried. A handful, 3 or 4 from each site got in. It's really amazing to see the big names that perform under pressure. It's like these names that you see that are
They are that good.
yeah,
It's like they actually
yeah,
are good when you see them playing against like the random, super good golfers that just aren't on the PGA Tour. It's like, damn, these PGA Tour players are actually so solid and they're good under pressure. They just know how to score when
yeah.
they need to.
36 holes, 715 players competed for 43 spots. That's amazing.
Wow.
I don't know if you saw Max Homa made the playoff, and they have these. It's crazy these spot when they're a lot of people tie for like second and third. You have these like 5 guys vying for 3 spots or 6 guys for 3 spots. So it's like whoever bogeys first, you're dropping off slowly.
Yeah.
Guys are dropping off. It's a
And you're just
survival.
trying to survive. Yeah. And I guess, let's say someone birdies,
Then you're
a
in.
bunch of people.
The birdie's
well,
in.
if you,
Other guys are surviving. The bogeys drop off, and then and then the next guy who birdies. It was interesting. They're showing the graph, and it basically was like birdie. These guys par. The bogey's gone. Another guy
birdie gets to leave.
Yeah, he's done. He walks away.
It is like a sudden death. That's
Yeah.
great.
And then there's like another guy. He birdies next. He's in, and then
Wow.
so the other guys are surviving. Then one other guy birdies.
Damn. That's exciting. Yeah, it was really cool when you went live because I don't think there was much coverage during the day, and then everyone started talking about it at night. But I think you got an early call on the Charlie Woods guy he played.
Yeah, no, I jumped on at the witching hour, right? Which it's like a red zone term on football, but it's like when all the
last 10 holes of every round.
Yeah, it was of the 36 of the final 9. I was tuning in. And you're not even able to watch it. It's not televised really, so it's not. And it's not on TV like the shots. They might show a couple. No.
But live scoring is pretty sick in that case because everyone can watch.
Yeah, exactly. I'm following all the leaderboards, and I could get a pretty good sense. And I feel like from the tournaments we've played, we've gotten better at reading leaderboards and going, okay, this is probably what's going to happen. And from betting too, I think we've gotten better at reading the live leaderboards.
Definitely. I've started to feel like, how the graph in Kalshi is like, it has a percentage chance of this thing hitting, which is kind of telling you the odds you'll get for making a certain bet.
Yeah.
And I feel like on Sunday, I'm watching, and by a certain point, like I feel what that chart is doing without looking at it. And I'm like, this guy's going to win and when we've done it live, I've felt like I've done that where at hole 13, he's up by 1, but he's playing better than everyone else. I'm like, I think this guy wins based on this trend line.
Right.
But at that point, so does everyone else. And that's why the Kalshi, you can't really beat the Kalshi unless you're really feeling it that day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's tough to get a jump on you. You just you almost have to be a mind reader and know that they're going to birdie a hole or something. Because you're right. Even if a par 5's coming up, everyone else knows that too. So it's like,
there's no way to look at holes. It has to do much more with the momentum that a player has. And I'm curious the stat at this point in the season, but how many people who start with the lead on Sunday close? And I think Eric Cole won recently, I believe.
Yeah.
No.
He won on the other tournament. Yes.
Last week, right?
He won on the side, like not the main PGA tournament.
Got it. But 2 weeks ago, he played and started the round in the lead. I remember he went to a playoff,
right?
With Wyndham Clark.
Yep.
I'm blanking on it, but he shot even par that day, but he started the day out in the lead, did not convert. So that's happened several times this year, where the person in the lead on Sunday does not close out. And that just proves we do not have a Tiger on tour right now.
For sure.
I think
Yeah.
Aaron Rye was one of the more recent people to start. My gosh, I don't think he was in the lead either when he won
Oh God, no, no,
the
no,
PGA.
not at all.
Yeah, no,
He
yeah,
he
he
was
shot
he was
well
like
under par.
dropping off. He like bogeyed, and then went on a birdie run.
Yep.
So yeah, it's interesting to see how these play out. But these people that qualified, it's so interesting, and I think it is important to bring up that they did not do regional qualifying, most of them, because they were exempt, I believe,
Yep.
into this Monday.
Yep.
I don't even know I don't know if they had to play anything before this to get into this even
That's a good
necessarily.
question. I doubt
You
it.
know,
There wouldn't be that many top players because there's, I mean, maybe there would be, but if they had to play a previous qualifying round, I doubt there would be that many people in it. And there's a lot of ways to get exempt into that round, and
right,
there's probably one line on there that's like you were a PGA Tour member in the last 5 years or something like that. Um, because there's a bunch of ways, like you're a Cal State amateur winner or something like that, you can get into a certain, like you don't have to do the local qualifying. Um, so there's obviously a
right.
lot of exemptions into regional, but then into the Monday, there's probably a bunch as well.
Yeah, so locally exempt players, low rank PGA, former champions skip the 18-hole local stage entirely. They are exempt from local, but not fully exempt. Final qualifying. So I think they may have had to actually get into final qualifying. Potentially top survivors from the local stage join the locally exempt players for the 36-hole. Oh, never mind. Yeah. They're locally exempt, so they go into the grueling 36-hole day. The regional local qualifying is the 18-hole sprint, 110 different sites. That's the one you're trying to do. You're trying to get
Yeah,
that one
trying to
day.
get into that one. Trying to do the local, which is 18. So you're saying the local and the regional are
That's
18
the
at this
same.
point?
It's the same thing. It's called local qualifying, or otherwise known as the regionals.
But I believe there's 2 rounds before what happened on Monday. There's the truly local, the one at like Aurora Tribuco, and then you go to the regional, which is like Southern California somewhere, and then from there you go to the final one, unless that's too many
No, it's
rounds.
I'm looking at it right here. It's the
Yep.
local. It's just two local.
Local and then final. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you just do your local and then you get to the regional, and that is what happened.
Then you get to the
So
final. It starts with
got it.
regional.
Got it.
Local
Okay.
and regional, same thing.
Okay. So there's no 3 rounds of qualifying. It's just two. And the
Yeah.
first one is 18 holes and the second one's 36.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Just
think I've made it to the if it's been this way for a long time, then I think I made it to the regional one time um a while ago, and I remember playing 36 holes. That was grueling.
you
It's
made
a
it to that
mental.
in the for the US
I
Open.
definitely have played 36 holes in a US Open qualifier.
It wasn't like the
Um
US Am or something else like that.
okay, yeah, it could have been it could have been the USAM. Yeah, probably that. But it was definitely 36 holes, and it was the second round of qualifying.
Right.
But I had no chance. That my mental game was not there to
Right.
play that many
Yeah.
holes
No,
without a blow up.
you've come a long way.
Yeah,
So that's kind of interesting.
Crystal Air is where it was. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'd be curious. I don't believe it was U.S. Open. It was
No,
definitely a
I think you're
USGA
correct.
though event, which they all follow a similar kind of qualifying format.
Yep.
I could be wrong. Tell me I'm wrong, but that is it's kind of interesting. So a lot of those names though were exempt, so they got in, to the final qualifying right away. But a lot of these names, of course, Miles Russell, amateur, he probably made it all the way. Davis Thompson, JB Holmes, Zach Blair, Billy Horschel. These are all guys that made it. Neil Shipley, Chris Kirk, Keith Mitchell, Jackson Subert, Jackson Ormond, Cole Hammer. Let's see, Andrew Putnam, Grayson Leach, Peter Uelheim, Tom Kim, Graham McDowell. Wow. So, those are some names that made it, but Max Homa didn't make it. He bogeyed the first hole. He missed a putt and bogeyed the first hole of the playoff, which is crazy. So there was some big names that didn't make it as well.
Yeah.
Who didn't
Yeah,
perform under pressure.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, once you're in a playoff, we've been in playoffs at the USAM Tour, and they can be tough. I can't remember what my record is in the playoffs, but I feel like I've won most of them. But it's truly 1v1 a lot of the time, or in these cases, it's like 1v6. 5. There's so many people.
Yeah,
I would imagine they all tee off at the same time. Probably.
Right. Yeah, so some of the most notable players that we will not be seeing in the U.S. Open, they failed to qualify on final qualifying. Max Homa, Tony Finau, he had a streak of 33 consecutive majors. He's going to miss that streak now. That's really sad. Matt Kuchar didn't make it. Schnedeker. These guys were all pretty close, too. Matt Wallace, Jordan Smith, Christian Bezzy-Denuit. Michael Block did not make it. He finished 1 over par in California on 36 holes. Wow. So he was in Sacramento, I believe. But so those are big names that just didn't, it's tough, but it's amazing to see some of those big names that can perform. So it's definitely I feel like for someone like you kind of get humbled, but you also see that like the path in a way.
Yeah. You see a way to get there. And I think they were like through 36 holes, a lot of the cut lines were like 6 to 8 under. So it's not like they were 16 under cut lines. So the courses were not set up easy.
No.
They were definitely difficult. I don't think it was like a walk in the park for anyone, and seeing someone like Michael Block shoot 1 over and a lot of these guys miss the cut a little bit. It's, it was a tough day. Definitely is a long day of golf to play 36 in a tournament, right? Those are like 5-hour rounds, at least. So they're playing 10 hours of golf.
Yeah.
And trying to just shoot 8 under total. And that's
exactly. Yep. So, I mean, it's cool though to think of there's 62 spots out there every year, for you to try to get into the U.S. Open, And
yeah,
it's
I think
like
that's a good goal for next year, to try to get to the regional, right? Like try to
final
get to the final
qualifying.
Yeah, and if I
Sacramento or whatever
trajectory from there, I just play as many tournaments as possible this summer.
Yep.
My original goal at the beginning of winter was win some tournament that's not a USAM Tour event out here in California, whether it's a Long Beach thing or SCGA type of US Amateur or like SCGA Amateur.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool. I definitely
or at least win USAM Nationals.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Kind of a test.
Definitely doable. That's a good trajectory or goal to have. Yeah.
Yeah. So
came close last year.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Tied for 6th. I think definitely should go to a playoff this year. That would be sick.
Yeah. So I mean, there's 62 spots. I think it's an amazing goal, and then there's a lot of other qualifiers and stuff, Monday qualifiers, as well, to get into tournament. It would just be so cool, and to get into one of those real tournaments.
Oh yeah.
You could even Monday qualify for a Corn Ferry, too.
Yeah. The hardest part about those is the travel.
Right.
Finding out, that's its own puzzle. It's part of the game that nobody talks about really, but the travel and the eating food, we've talked about that before. It's like, how do you stay nutritious?
Yep. Yeah, you almost need to bring a chef with you. But we've kind of started to understand it's the minus test. You there? Sit back. Andrew, I lost you.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. You're back.
Yep.
And we're back.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think we started to understand or figure out a little more that it's shooting -3 per 9. Like that's the goal to be at the top level. It's you've got to be at least 3 under per 9, or else you don't stand a chance. Like you have to be doing that on a day, day in day out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it comes from I think I've figured out a little bit in my putting to really make those birdie putts that are outside 6 feet, right? Because you're not going to hit every green super close. So it's really like at the level I'm playing, it's the small adjustments throughout the game, tee to green, uh, where you just gain half a stroke off the tee. I got to hit more fairways because I've looked at the stats recently, and when I'm in the fairway, I hit the green like 80% of the time. If I'm in the rough, I hit the green like 50 or 40% of the time. And it's just a fact. And so does that mean I lay back more off the tee so that I'm more often in the fairway because I'm actually perfectly okay with a 7 iron or even a 6 iron into a green,
Right.
rather than trying to keep getting to wedges in the rough where I still can miss a green from there, have less control. So I definitely need to practice more, and then play more and try different uh, uh, solutions
Mm-hmm.
off the tee and around the green to see
Interesting.
what does that. I think I've had a few rounds recently with like that 3 birdies every for 9 holes, and it definitely keeps me under par. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, right. Because I guess to get to 3 under, you do need 3 birdies, or you need more with bogeys. So
Yeah, like
that.
3 to 4 birdies per 9,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's a good goal for tomorrow. Is like, okay, let's hit 3 birdies per 9. If I have a blow up hole, it is what it is. I'm probably not playing enough at the moment
Right.
um, to be perfect throughout the course, but it's kind of like 2 goals, right? No bogeys, right? Because a lot of people are like no doubles, which is a great goal, but for me, it's no bogeys and then 3 birdies per 9. And
Yeah.
when I have to take my medicine, what was interesting at the Los Verdes tournament, I took my medicine on a hole and almost made par. Like it felt like in Tiger Woods' How I Play Golf book, he discusses how he was like behind trees and there's bunkers on the green, and his dad's like, "What do you want to do here?" And he's like, "I see a gap," and he's like, "Well, maybe just hit out in the fairway," and he does, and he still makes par.
Right.
So it's like that is real. If you're decent with wedges, take your medicine. Like you'll get closer than you think, and you'll have a par putt that you could make, and
Right.
you do that and you're just never going to have a double. It's
Right.
hard to do that though. Really, really
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. No, taking your medicine is a whole. We could have a whole pod about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of aspects to taking your medicine for sure. But yeah, no, I was just to kind of cap that off. I was telling our coach about that. I'm like, we used to think that -3 per 9 was like we've arrived. It's so good, and I'm like, we're actually now thinking like that's just baseline to be able to enter into the USGA tournaments. You
Yeah.
have to be -3 per 9. Like it's not a miracle,
No. And that's
We used to
why
think
to
it was
me,
like God's gift.
yeah, and that's how handicap feels. Right when you lower it, you start to see the other side of where you were trying to get, and you go, "Oh, that's how far I am away from that." So to me, my handicap has to be a +5 before I can seriously think about
Having a
entering a
chance.
professional like having any chance, because that means 8 out of my last 20 rounds are at a +5 handicap, which
Right.
is like that's true statistical
Yeah.
probability of saying that you will play well when you play.
Yeah.
And by well, I mean really, really freaking good.
Yeah. And I've kind of learned the hard way on like if you're just focusing on a handicap number, like nothing, it will never happen. Like I need to be going like, oh, I'll bet you $500 I'm gonna use my oblique tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah,
then
you have to find a roundabout way, right?
then guess what will happen? Like your handicap will go down, but like you actually can't chase a lower handicap. You got to chase other things.
And yeah, chase other things that help you change.
Yeah.
Your handicap stays the same because most people don't
It's a
change.
it's a product of things. So
Yes.
you can't
Yeah.
you can't go grab it and buy it,
Yeah. And because it's all relative to the course rating and the slope, that's especially why, because like you're playing different courses. Like you shouldn't be doing the same thing every shot. Every shot is new, every course is new, every day is like you could
Yeah.
keep zooming out.
Right.
So it's because it's all relative, and it's even relative to other golfers.
Yeah, the sun is a day. The
PCC.
sun got a day older, tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy how big the universe is, right?
yeah, exactly. So, well, good
All
stuff, man.
Yep.
I'll see you tomorrow at the round. I think we're gonna have Jack filming as well.
Sweet.
So yeah, let's make sure that we have the gimbal and everything.
And the batteries charged.
Yeah, I'll charge one of mine too. But that'll be OG match number 2, I believe, for YouTube Golf. So I think you'll just see a nice little OG match with a little action on the side, maybe. So cool, man. Check out. I want to thank our fan that bought a hat. I just shipped that out. If you're listening out there in Illinois, that hat is on its way. Want to shout out to Full Turn Nutrition. These bars are awesome, guys. They have L-theanine, one of the ingredients in green tea, the non-caffeinated ingredient that helps mental focus. So this pod is brought to you by the Full Turn Performance Bar. And check out turnnutrition.com. Check out golfinthecosmos.com. Check out Try Thinking Deeper. That's Andrew's channel on Instagram. Golf in the Cosmos you can find on YouTube, TikTok, basically everywhere. And then Andrew's on Try Thinking Deeper's on YouTube as well. So check that out. He's got some cool stuff. Anyways, I could go on forever, but thanks everyone for tuning in if you're still with us, and we'll catch y'all next time. We'll see you out there on the links.